Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. Today, we're going to be talking about more free money to invest in real estate, to buy houses, especially if you haven't gotten your first deal yet. So if you haven't purchased a property yet and you're heading into 2025, make sure you stick around to the end of this session because I'm going to give you a lot of game about how you can get started. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribed. Click the links in the description to tap into the free training. If you're on IG, tapping in, you can tap into my free training by clicking the link in bio or DMing me cash flow. So guys, we're only going to spend about 20 minutes together tonight because I want to get through this information as quickly as possible. Feel free to ask any questions as we're going through it, but I'm trying to game you guys up. I want you guys to level up on some of the free money that's out there to get properties. So many of us are struggling because we don't have the money to invest. That's like the number one thing I hear. Brian, I want to invest. I've been studying about this. It's either like cash or credit, but mostly cash because you guys are getting smarter with credit and how to leverage business credit and all those things. But getting the cash, I want you to know it's available. It's out there. We're going to talk about $100,000 forgivable loan for New Yorkers. If you're in New York City, and you can use this on up to a 4-unit building. So you can get multifamily buildings with free money up to $100K fully forgivable. We're going to talk about how that works and break those numbers down for you. And if we break it down for you in one city, know that it can apply to you in another. These programs are government funded, so they tend to work similarly, the same way. So if you want that information, make sure you stick around. Let's get straight into the mindset, guys. If you have questions, drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section, and we will I'll keep flowing. Yeah, Mike said I look dapper. I'm coming from a networking event. Actually, not a networking event. My father-in-law was being honored, had a portrait reveal, so we had to get dressed to impress. So I figured I'd bring this to the 24/7 Cash Flow University as well instead of the normal hoodie. Not that there's anything wrong with rocking the hoodie and being comfortable. So let's get into this. Quick mindset for you guys, and then we will jump right in. The mindset is when one door closes, another one opens. So understand that you may be running into bottlenecks right now when you're trying to do deals, especially if you're trying to do your first deal. It's very difficult for some reason. It's very scary. You don't know how the closing process works. You don't know how, down payments work. There's so much about the process that you just don't understand. You haven't been exposed to. And you may run into a bottleneck or something that kind of knocks you out of the game. My bottleneck was when I first got started, I didn't have the credit. So I had to get my credit up. I fixed that in maybe like 5 days with a rapid rescore, which is something that we teach you about. But that was a bottleneck that could have, stopped me from getting my first deal. Then I ran into a tax issue where there was some issue with recently filed taxes, and there were just a lot of hurdles. But running into hurdles may be holding you back slightly so you can get more information. So a session like this would be more information. You may be about to buy a deal, didn't work out, you don't know why. Then you watch something like this, you start learning about, oh, there's forgivable loans out there. Oh, there's, $100K for down payment assistance. And you're able to buy a property for way less than you thought you would have to. You're able to come out of pocket maybe 80K less, 50K less. This is a big game changer. When I bought my first property, I was able to buy it for $5,000 instead of $10,000 because I had superior knowledge of some strategies. Had I known what I know today, I wouldn't have paid anything for it. I would have absolutely gotten this property 100% free. With the free money, the down payment assistance, all the things for first-time home buyers, I wouldn't have paid probably a dime for this property. So just because we're giving this information to you, like really start to do your research. Don't take it for granted. Do your research locally as well. This is New York, but once again, you'll have something like this wherever you live. So let's get into this information. If you guys have any questions about this, I also have the Philadelphia Rental Improvement Fund loaded because I've been getting questions about that all week. So if anybody has any questions about that as you're doing the deals in Philly, let me know. So once again, this is the Housing Preservation and Development Department for the New York City Department of Housing. They have this HomeFirst down payments assistance program, and there's a full term sheet. I'll make this available as a link in the description of this video. But this promotes the acquisition of privately owned 1 to 4 family homes, co-ops, and condominiums for owner occupancy within the 5 boroughs of New York City by providing a forgivable loan of up to $100,000 for down payment or closing costs to qualified home buyers earning up to 80% of the area median income. So there are some income requirements. I'll flash over those pretty quickly, but this is basically a forgivable loan that's being provided to people who are at a certain earning limit. But you'll see these limits and they're fairly liberal. A lot of people that really need this money would qualify anyway. They just don't know that it really exists. So upon successful completion of a homebuyer education class, prospective first-time homebuyers will receive a HomeFirst homebuyer certificate issued by the HPD that verifies their eligibility for a HomeFirst forgivable loan of up to $100,000. So this is one of the largest down payment assistance kind of forgivable loans that I've seen in the country. I haven't seen anything for 100,000. There may be something like this in the California market, but I think I saw something closer to 50K there. But anything over 25,000 is massive. 100K is pretty substantial. Let's talk about the eligibility. To be a first-time home buyer is a requirement. This is defined as a household that has not owned a home during the 3-year period immediately prior to the purchase of a primary residence with home funding. So this will trip people up a lot. I'll get this question like, well, Brian, if I buy a property through with the Boots on the Ground program, if I go out and get a rental property, will that stop me from being able to use my FHA? Because that's for like first home buyers, right? So now I can't put down 3.5% on something that I want to live in, or maybe a duplex or triplex. No. If you could buy 100 investment properties through LLCs, so these are commercial business loans. You might be guaranteeing those loans, but they're not going on your credit report. They're not really going in your name. You could do 100 deals and still qualify for an FHA loan, which would go in your personal name and allow you to buy a personal residence or primary residence where you're only putting down 3.5%. You can still do that. So being an investor doesn't stop you. These are they're kind of like technicalities. So even with this forgivable loan, you could have bought a property 5 years ago and sold it, but because you haven't purchased a primary residence or lived in a primary residence within the last 3 years, you're qualified. So you could still get this money. So I would say a lot of investors may get this money, but I think the big part about this one as well is that you can do it on up to 4 units. Some will cap you on 2 units. Some will cap you on 1 unit. That's part of your research. But being able to do it on up to 4 units is massive. That means you can get a property and essentially offset your entire mortgage, live for free. If you went out and got 4 units or even 3 units, you can typically do that. In a duplex, it'll just reduce your monthly burden substantially, but maybe not to zero. All applicant households must have a gross annual income not exceeding 80% of the area median income as determined by HUD. And there's a chart here. So a 4-person household, 125,000. A 3-person household, 111,000. There are a lot of people that are going to be qualified for this. I would say the overwhelming majority of people would qualify for this. A 6-person household, which is definitely a lot of kids for sure, 144,000. So it's not like, you got to make 50K or 30K to qualify for this stuff. You can make pretty reasonable money and qualify for up to 100K. And if you don't qualify for the full 100K, they'll start to kind of, wind you down and reduce you a bit. So the maximum HomeFirst loan amount is 100,000. The formula for determining the HomeFirst loan amount is up to 20% of the purchase price of the home, not to exceed 100,000. The loan amount will be the lesser of 20% of the purchase price or 100,000. And that's what you're going to see on your typical, let's say on your typical multifamily property in the Bronx, even in a rougher part, it's going to be a little bit over 500,000. Maybe it's like 700,000. So you'll be able to get that 100K on pretty much your average deal. These are kind of your home purchase price limits, which will go up to 1.1, 1.3 million. So they're giving you a lot. And this will sit as a secondary mortgage. So it's really just allowing you to bring less out of your pocket to the table in a very direct way. What else did we want to cover? The loan term is a fixed 15 to 40 year term. So this is not a 40-year mortgage session. I've talked about 40-year mortgages and how we'll see more of those. This is actually interesting because they will go to a 40-year term. So this may even open up opportunities for specialty products. If you can get a quadplex for even $1 million and put it on a 40 and then get $100K for it, forgivable, and use other kind of first time home buyer requirements or owner occupied requirements of like 10% down, you may be able to acquire a building like this for like 10, maybe like 10K to get a, quadplex in one of the 5 boroughs. A lot more people need to know about this information. This one was interesting to me. Maximum, let me try to blow this up a little bit. This one was interesting to me. Maximum qualifying underwriting ratios. The maximum loan to value, 97%. Maximum, and this is on your initial mortgage. They'll do a secondary mortgage on top of it. Maximum combined loan to value, 115%. That's remarkable. That means they'll lend you up to more than even the value of the property. 115%. So they'll cover everything and some. They're willing to cover more than 100% of the purchase price of the house. And your closing costs, while they can add up on you, they're not that much. So this will cover pretty much all of it. Credit score requirements, minimum of 620 FICO. A 580 may be permitted for FHA mortgages based on the lender overlays and approval. And there are lenders out there, some of the no-doc lenders, which we just did a session on maybe it was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. The no-doc lenders out there, some of them will have like those 580 kind of groups where it's not no-doc. They're going to check everything, but they'll take you down to a 580. If you're below a 580, there are some credit hacks that you can do to try to get up to a 620 pretty quickly. So those are most of the restrictions and the application process. So how do you make this forgivable? Well, the loan term is 10 years for loans less than or equal to 40,000, 15 years or greater for those that are larger than 40,000. It's a 0 interest loan. The forgiveness happens, I believe, in year 10. So you have to use this as your primary residence for a period of 10 consecutive years following the receipt of the down payment assistance loan. If the loan is less than or equal to 40,000 or 15 consecutive years. So if you do that, if you got 100K, you have to own or occupy or keep this property in your name and keep some space available for yourself in it for 15 years. It's 100% forgivable at that point. 100,000. And it'll start to stare itself down after year 10. After year 10, then they're going to start forgiving 20% of the loan every year. So it's pretty interesting. So 100% of the 100,000 forgiven, just keep it. Just keep renting the thing. Keep cash flowing. If you got a quadplex and you rented out the other units, you would live for free. You wouldn't even pay to live. So camp out, stack up your money, take one of the nicer units, and you're going to get a guaranteed 100K forgiven. And your property is going to appreciate over the course of 10, 15 years. You're probably going to make, in a place like New York, not that it's the best place to buy and hold and rent in because of the landlord-tenant laws, but from an appreciation standpoint, I mean, you might make $500,000 in appreciation in an up market. So it's pretty interesting stuff. There are some fees associated, and you have to take some degree of a course. There are specialty lenders. If you violate it, or you try to like sell the house or move out before the term period, there's different types of repayment that will go into place. But this is stuff that you should start to research for yourselves. So this is one thing. There are lots of grants out there I'm seeing as well, $5,000, $10,000 grants. There are ways to invest in real estate without needing cash or credit, just going the creative financing route and getting directly in front of motivated sellers. I mean, it's really not that difficult. I think people put a lot of barriers in front of themselves to prevent themselves from getting the motivated sellers. But it's not that hard. You pick up the phone, you call people, you can list build, you can put up bandit signs and do different things. And you'll get yourself in front of people who are looking to sell their properties, and you can get in that business with very little capital. So wherever you're at, I mean, you just want to get started, but do understand, there are hundreds of thousands of dollars kind of flowing around for your first time home purchase. And then when you get into the rental property game, especially if you're creating affordable housing, is what I've been talking about a lot. They're giving you money to build affordable housing. We talked about that last week, and there are programs like that all across the country as well. So learn how to build houses, learn how to rebuild your communities, and landlord a bit. Even if you hand off that work to a property management company, it's not that you have to do this stuff yourself, but learn the business so that you can get your hands on the free money, because that is part of the affordable housing solution, is just getting money into the hands of developers in a very direct way. Because you're still taking on, even if they give you free money, you're still taking your time, energy. You're managing, maybe you're managing some contractors through a project. You're putting work in, and then you're managing, an affordable housing tenant. So you are providing value. So they're giving you some free money to do it, which is nice. They should, because you are helping the cities. But it's not like it's unearned in that sense. You are earning that money and you're making it happen. You're bringing value to the table. So guys, hope that helped. If you got value, definitely share the content with someone who you want to get value, who you want to learn how to get into the real estate game, even if they're starting off with very little cash. Because I did it. I wouldn't have got my first property without some of these strategies. You guys need to take advantage of this stuff too. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section. We're going to run another real estate ride along tour in March. I don't have the specific date, but that's when it's going to be. And we'll start releasing tickets maybe later this week for that. And then when it sells out, it'll just sell out from there. And then we have the Boots on the Ground program. If you want me and my team to find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you. So if you're in priced out markets and you need leverage, you need somebody to step in and kind of turnkey some rental properties for you, definitely reach out. You can click the link in the description and tap into the new training that we put together for you guys like last week that just went live. And you can book a call with me and my team to learn more about that Boots on the Ground, or the Inner Circle, where we teach you the game. We just had somebody tap in today to the Inner Circle from out of the country. And we have a bunch of mentees from out of the country, especially from Canada. We got some from New Zealand, definitely some from Africa, some from the UK. I forget. I think this person was tapping in from Costa Rica today, but they had already done some deals in the US, but they want to learn how to really put the management systems in place. Like, they're ready to scale. And that's what the 100 Keys Masterclass is all about. How can you scale? How can you invest from out of state remotely? Like, it's focused specifically on that, tapping into some of the top 10 affordable cash flow cities, some of the top 10 cash flow cities in the country. How do you tap in from out of the country or across the country, wherever? So that's what you get access to in the Inner Circle, and then the networking and everything, and then some cool one-on-one support with our deal analyst. So if anybody's interested in any of that, just reach out, DM me cash flow, and just stay locked in. There's a lot coming at us this year. It's real early in the year. This is a great year to grab, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties. And we'll see how rates balance themselves out as we get closer to June. If you guys need me, you know how to get a hold of me. And I'll probably see my Inner Circle people and my Boots on the Ground people on the Wednesday night call, 9 p.m. Eastern, on the private Zoom for my Inner Circle people. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor. I'll see you guys on the next one.